You're watching Silentpinkgamer. Reviews.
Hi guys, hi! Welcome back to my channel. It's me, Silentpinkgamer, and we're back with a recap of episode 4 of It. Welcome to Derry. So guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, before everything started, don't forget to like, guys. Watch it all the way through. It greatly helps out the channel, greatly, and I would appreciate you guys more. I noticed in my results, guys, 90% of you guys are not following, you're not really interacting. Please, guys, it helps me out greatly if you do. So if you wouldn't kind, before we start, subscribe, like, tell me in the comments what's your favorite part of Derry so far. I would like to know. I would love to know if you're watching, especially. But of course, guys, I'm gonna give y'all a moment. I'm gonna drink me some water because we got a lot to discuss. We have a lot to discuss on episode 4. Once again, guys, I don't know how long this video is going to be, so take your time, sit back, put it in the background, turn it up loud. Don't forget to like, just listen to it, just put it in your favorites, just interact, share it, especially for all the ones out there who you think would love to know my opinion or an opinion at all of what's going on with Derry. Okay, guys? So let's go ahead and jump into it. So as you guys also know too, there will be spoilers. If you don't want any spoilers, please click off, but let me know you were here by saying we are here with pink hearts. Also too, guys, this is not going to be any particular order, so if you're expecting it to be back-to-back order per scene, per cut, then probably don't get mad at me, it's not going to happen. So let's do it, okay? So, the beginning of the episode, the kids throw their bikes down. They go to Chief Bauer's office. And that last name definitely seems familiar. Bauer's. An ancestor of the Bauer's boy. The bully. Makes sense, right? Attitude checks out. Guys, go check out it if you haven't checked it out, okay? So, they march into Chief Bauer's office. They basically tell him and they show him the pictures. Of course, when Chief Bauer's and his little minions were looking at the pictures, they were looking all shocked and oh my gosh, wow. Found out they were faking it. Yeah. And the kids were like, what the hell? Excuse me, guys, sorry. The pictures took form of something else. So yes, no dead children, no Susie, no Teddy, no uncle, cousin, no none of that. No dead people. Just statues and blurry flowers and gravestones. I predicted that one. It wasn't going to show up. Now, I might have not said it to you guys, but I said it's like it is not going to be that careless. As we all know, guys, keep in mind, it is an entity that feeds on mainly children, but if you're getting fed on as an adult, you have to encounter him at some point of time in your life. Either as a child or mostly I think it has to do when you're a child and then as you get older kind of situation, kind of like we experienced in It Part 1 and Part 2, So it doesn't go for everybody. It's all about the fear. So it didn't work out. They didn't believe him, and the Chief Bauer's basically said, hey, stay out of it. If you don't want to go back to a mental world, Lily, and if you don't want to make things harder for your father, Ronnie, back off. Initially. So, going from there, they do try to discuss kind of like what's going on, like how can we figure it out, they're just trying to discuss them on themselves. They find out that it is due to fear, and they're trying their best to figure out how to break the fear. So Lily came up with an idea by giving them each pills from her mother's cabinet to get rid of their fear. Now, obviously, within this episode, guys, we didn't really see none of them take the pill. So, sadly, we don't know how the pills are going to react to them. But I guarantee it's not going to look great. But regardless of that, she gave them things to help with fear to try to get rid of Pennywise the best what they can. So we're gonna jump over to what's his name? Leroy and his family. So as you know, Leroy is doing his day-to-day, trying to get an understanding of what's going on, right? So now, before we encounter his wife and their son Will basically had a discussion because Will was hurt. His mom finds a picture. He tries to tell him, like, hey, there's something going on in Derry, something's wrong. And I'm glad he kind of told her, though I still don't fully believe that she doesn't really know what to believe kind of situation like most parents. But she knows something's up. She's like, hey, just stay indoors. Come home from school, go to school, come home, come to school, don't linger. And he was kind of like, well, can't really do that, but okay, so she's more on high guard now. Sorry, I keep hitting my mouth, guys. So now she's on high guard, okay? She's cautious. She's like, okay, what's going on? So she also ends up finding out by Ronnie's father, okay? So then she tries to help him because, as we all know, back in those times, black men and women were accused of horrendous things without any proof. And I like how they're staying back into those times of real actual history of how it was back in the day. So she's trying her best to be a civil rights movement woman and trying to help Ronnie's father. And yes, she eventually gets a way to talk to Ronnie's father in jail by the grandmother. They had a conversation at their home and basically discussing, and she gave her a letter signed that she can go speak to him. So now they're working together. Now Leroy ends up taking Will on a fishing trip, right? Little guy, little son, little father's night out fishing trip. And it was cute, Now, Will didn't really want to be there, but then he slowly starts loosening up. Leroy tries to get him to talk about Ronnie, and he's kind of like, whatever, Dad, cutesy stuff, right? So, of course, Leroy goes back to his car to go get some more bait and stuff like that. He tells him to hold on to his rod. So that's when he encounters the Pennywise effect, right? So he gets pulled under the water. He tries to drown him, but it's not Pennywise per se. It's his father burnt up to crispy to crack. And he has marks on his arm. Of course, his father luckily hears him, right? And he rushes out to save his son. And he's like, it's you, but you were burned. Something was wrong, And he saw his arms being bloody, not like super bloody, but like there's a scar or, scrape, whatnot, that clearly shows that something or someone tried to pull him under. So then they both seen the red balloon. It floats over the lake. That's when Leroy really starts trying to figure out what is wrong with Derry. And like his son told him to his face, there's something in Derry, Dad. Like there's something wrong. Like there's something going on. So from there, he starts being more on high guard, more alert, because also too at night his son also encounters the Pennywise effect again, right? He couldn't sleep, so he goes to his telescope to do what he does with telescope, to look at the stars, but also do a little peeping, right? So he's looking around, and then he's seen Pennywise, or a clown, behind a tree lurking. So he screams bloody murder. His father comes over. He's like, yo, what's wrong? What's going on? And he's like, I seen someone behind a tree looking at me. So of course, as a father, do what he do, because he's thinking that there's something else going on, because he's suspicious. He doesn't know if it's because he's a black male. He doesn't know if it's because he's military. They don't know if he don't know is what he's going through with his job. He just don't know. Okay, so he He goes outside, does what a father does. You know, who's out there? He grabs a weapon of sorts. He's like, hey, who's out there? I think it's like one of those little fire pit pike things. And he's like, you know, who's out there? Come here, face me, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, no one comes. The lights of the neighbors turned on. Obviously, that's not a good look as a black male or a black family, because what is one thing they're known to say? That we're destructive and we're loud and we're angry, we're this and that and the third. And he was trying to prevent that, especially when it came to drama. Okay, not really working out right now, especially when he also eventually he does confront his wife about it, and she's kind of like, what do you mean, and trying to play it off. But obviously one of his military dudes that he came with saw her going to the police station. Okay, and he's not happy about that whatsoever. I digress. So when he was heading back in from doing all of that, he sees the red balloon in the tree, so he knows somebody was out there. He knows, he didn't see it, but he knows something's wrong. Okay, so from there he rushes into his sergeant's office, Francis, and he's like, tell me what's going on. What are we searching for? Why is this happening? What is this whole thing with fear? Trying to demand answers, because none of this makes sense. What are they hiding for? What's so scary? What's going on, right? He shows him Halloween. We're back to Halloween and his abilities. Now, before we get to Halloween, he did talk to Halloween outside their little man fort or man hut or man room. And that was part of his special privileges. Obviously it's dirty, they had to clean it up, so they're trying to set it up, clean it up, sweep up, get the mini bar in there, the food. They're talking about bringing in the grill with the dude. So he was outside. Leroy pulls up and he has a conversation. He's like, what is going on? What did you see? What's happening? And he's like, basically, I don't know what you're talking about, trying to play it off. But then he eventually snaps and he's like, fuck it, like, I don't know, I don't think it wants us here, like, I just don't fucking know, like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. Because when he starts telling him about what happened to his son, he feels guilty about it, but he doesn't really know himself, right? Like he said, he does what he's told, like you. And he made that prominent. I do what I'm told, you do what you're told, that's all I know. You know, I don't pick and prod, I don't ask questions, I get my little man gifts, you know, it's to each his own kind of situation. Now, also keep in mind too, before then he keeps seeing his grandma. Remember, he saw his grandma in a flashback. He saw his grandma floating with all the toys, and then he seen his grandma in the forest before Leroy pulled up. So we have to figure out what's going on with his grandma. Now, a lot of people believe his ability is not necessarily just psychic, it's the shining. That's what the shining is. It's psychic ability, it's mental ability that is supernatural. Of course, guys, in the comments you can let me know if you believe that or not. I thought it was interesting. Now, going back to where I was when he demanded answer from his chief Francis, Halloween's in office with one of the native young boys, trying to demand answers of what's going on. Why are you here? What are we hiding for? And of course, he's not being forthcoming as expected. You know what I mean? So then from there, Halloween penetrates his mind with his ability and is very rough, very aggressive, very I'm in you, my guy. So then he makes a scenario when the native boy was young with his aunt. You find out his aunt is Rose that used to play with Francis when they were younger, and they start talking about I will put the name on the screen because I don't want to chop it up too bad, and it's basically the native name for it initially, talking about how this ball of fire came from the sky. And as we all know, guys, It is an alien. It is the Deadlights, okay? So if you did not know that, it is an alien. He's the Deadlights. He came from space, okay? And he crashed down, okay? When the native tribes found it, they made a peace off because they found out this thing was killing people. They were eating people's fear, right? So they made a weapon out of a piece of what it's afraid of. Initially, it's cage. And it kind of bought them some time for protection, but it didn't protect them for long. So eventually, it became more powerful. It became more of an issue. And then they tried to warn the settlers of the issue with this land and why they should leave and they shouldn't do here. Obviously, what do Americans do? They don't listen. They start dying left to right. So they decided, hey, we need to go hunt this thing, try to take it out once for all with the weapon, and put a stop to this. It didn't work, obviously. The creepy creatures that came out of the forest was crazy. I really liked the white man that was like a priest and he turned elongated, and the dead, like, that was dope. That was absolutely amazing. But that's what he do. He takes your fear, he brings them to life, and he kills you with the Deadlights. And so one of the main predominant women that was part of the tribe was killed, unfortunately. So her daughters took over and came up with the idea of cracking down his cage, taking it into 13 parts, spreading around to lock him into the forest. And as we all know, guys, he's no longer in that forest. He's hunting outside of grounds, you know, unless the forest is the town. That could be possibly what they're trying to get at, but I don't think so. I really don't think that is. It just seems like he's gotten so much stronger he can hunt outside the forest now. There's some parts that really don't make sense to me a little bit. Find out, guys, the whole Native American part was added in. It's not part of the books. It's not part of the original story. So they felt like it was a way to add in gaps. It was a way to fill in some things to give it more of a historical background kind of situation. I don't feel like it needed that simply just because we already knew he was an alien. You know, I get Native Americans, shout out to you guys, you know, are here, this is part of their land, and giving them that little extra juice helps out, but I don't feel like it needed it. It felt like it was too heavy-handed and things kind of felt kind of mushy and smushing together, right? Okay, that's my opinion of that. But anyway, you find out the name that they gave him and kind of what it does and its abilities and things like that. So then Halloween breaks in and he's like, oh, that's nice, ha ha ha, being the villain. And I don't like that they keep doing that for the black community. They make, you know, the white guys or the white people the problem, but they make the black people the villains, and then the natives the heroes. Like, can we switch up the dynamic? I'm not saying Leroy's a bad guy and his wife is not a bad guy. It's just, it's always that trope. The more I see it, I'm kind of just like, I don't like it. But Halloween completely been a dick. Like, he went from being weird, sketchy, kind of decent to a villain. His character development to me feels very everywhere. But nevertheless, because he, like, also too, before you put him over, guys, have you noticed he apologized? He's like, I'm so sorry that I have to do this. So he was a decent person, but in his mind he was a dick. That was weird for me, okay? Really weird. Okay. So then eventually he turns back into an adult. He points out to a white abyss, and it goes into this white, like the black house from It 2 or It 1, the black house. Yes. So I'm thinking that either where he came down is underneath the house, or one of the pieces are in that house. See, the house is just a little weird because it's like the way they're making it seem like all the pieces are there, or the way it insinuated, it just didn't make sense to me a little bit. It seemed a little off. Let me know if you agree with that, guys. I will love your opinions, but it just seemed like it was off. But maybe the house is sitting on where he initially took place. I know there's a well there to get down to the sewer, but it's not puzzling right. It's not sticking together right, you know? But nevertheless, let's get into back to school. So eventually Marge while they were in class, she was sitting behind Lily. She's like, hey, you know, I miss you. You're my friend. And Lily is sweet, and she's going through a lot, as you all know. So she's kind of like, oh, I miss you too. Yeah. And she's like, well, can we eat together this time for like just me and you? And she's like, yeah, okay. Then you find out she looks at the patty cakes, and she's giving her that look. So you know it's a fucking setup, right? You know something's off. So then they get to lunch, they're eating together, she's trying to get out information from Lily, and then some jock guy comes over and kind of gives Lily the little cutesy eyes, and Marge is encouraging her, like, oh my god, you should do it, do it, you know, he's so cute, right? And of course, you know, Lily's like, oh my gosh, like, what will girl think? You know, this is supposed to be my friend. You find out they've been friends since they were little bitty, so it's like, of course you think you can trust her. And like I said, Lily is so sweet, so she's like, okay, yeah, I'll freshen up, I'll make myself before I go over there. Found out it was a setup by the patty cakes and her. She's so desperately trying to be friends with them. That's why I'm not sad about what happens next. Don't forget, guys, like the video, like if you made it to this point, say we made it here to this point. I know exactly which point it is, and put pink hearts. But let's get back to it, right? So she goes to the bathroom, she freshens up, Marge comes out, she's feeling guilty now. She's like, damn, like, I'm really about to fuck up my friend like this, like, just to fit in with these girls that really honestly don't respect me and like me, but she's desperate, right? So she was right when she was about to tell her, while Lily was peeing, because she was nervous, it gets to her, right? The it effect starts happening. Her eyes start swelling, start bugging out, parasite, like Gary, like SpongeBob eyeballs pop out. It was crazy. Excruciating pain. She's scared. She doesn't know what the hell is going on with her face. So she runs out. Lily's like, hold on, wait, I'm coming. And then she eventually gets done peeing. Then she looks down for the pill that she was going to get out. She's so scared. She's trying to hurry up and get the pill out. It fell in the toilet. Honestly, I would have left the pill there. But, you know, Lily's desperate. She doesn't want it to get to her. So she's trying. So she eventually gets to the pill. Marge runs into the tool class, or I forgot what the class, I had a class like that where we used to make rockets and shit. I forgot what it's called. We're just gonna say arts and crafts shop. Haha, got it. Shop class. And she's trying so hard to figure out what the hell. Try to get her eyes to stop burning, stop hurting, stop being in excruciating pain. She takes up like a tool and she stabs it in her eye. Not working, so she eventually turns on the saw blade and she cuts it off, right? And her eyes still look crazy. So eventually Lily's like, no. She runs in there after her. She's like, no, stop. Don't do it, right? And she jumps on her, trying to save her friend. She takes the weapon from her because she was about to stab herself in the face again, but it's a bad look because the it effect completely clears up. Clearly she has an injury from the initial stab, not from cutting off her eyeballs, because that was just hallucinations at that point. But it was very, very real. It's very, very harmful, right? Then all the students run in, and it's not a good look. Lily is guilty as hell because she has blood all over her. She has a weapon. She's on top of Marge. Yeah, Lily is in trouble. Guys, this episode, it is tearing these kids up. It is tearing them up. I am so excited for episode 5. I can't wait to see what happens next. How the kids are going to survive when no one believes them, and it knows how to not only fuck with the mind but also cover his tracks. What are they going to do? It's such a beautiful story, and I think they're doing such a great job of telling it so far. Guys, if you like this video, you know what to do. Like, share it, subscribe to the family. I would love for you guys to be here. Check out my previous gaming video, guys. I guarantee you will love them. I get that my personality is not your typical gamer. Some days I'm quiet, some days I'm bubbly. It's just, I'm human, right? But I really hope you enjoyed this. Check out my videos, guys. Like them, interact with them. I would love to know your opinion. How can I improve? I would love to know that too. But regardless of that, guys, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in for the next episode. It's gonna be out, guys, before the next episode. But thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.
Welcome to Derry. Tune in Sundays.